everybody, welcome back. We're going to spend the next probably 3 videos pretty much working on our enemy. I guess we've been working on our enemy for the last, what, 1 or 2 videos? Probably 1 video, I don't remember. So this one, we're going to add the ability to our enemy to shoot lasers, and if the laser hits the player, then the player dies. And so that's what we're going to go after this time. So let's see. Let's go ahead and drop down here into our prefabs where we have our enemy ship. I'm going to go ahead and pull one of these up here. And I'm also going to go ahead and pull up one of these player lasers and pull it into my scene and start making some tweaks here. So first tweak I'm going to make is my player laser. I want to do some changing to this. I'm going to change its name to enemy laser and change its tag to, let's see, we'll add a tag, and we'll call this tag enemy laser as well. Oops, add a tag, enemy laser, something like that. Go back to our player laser right here. Let's see, enemy laser. And apparently I am not hitting enter any of the times that I'm making these changes. Alright, we got him changed. Okay, now I want to go ahead and make a new prefab out of this. So I'm just going to drag enemy laser down into my prefabs. So now I've got a new prefab for that. And let's make some more tweaks here in our movement. I'm going to do an edit. And you know what? Actually, I'm not going to edit my movement at all now that I think about it. I was going to say, you know, we're going to change our movement so he moves along this, so he moves in the opposite direction that he was, but we're going to do that just by rotating the spawner like we did before. So yeah, everything is pretty good here. We just have one more change to make in our laser. Down here in materials, this player laser material. Let's create a copy of that. So I'll do a, let's see, we'll come up here to edit. We'll go with a copy. Then we'll go back to edit and we'll do a paste. Or not. Okay, that's cool. There's another way to do this. I just show it in my Explorer real quick. Go over here. This player laser matte, that material, just do a Control C, Control V. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and rename this. Press F2 to bring up that rename. And I'm going to call this enemy laser matte, something like that. Okay. Go back here into this. Alright, enemy laser matte, and we're going to do some tweaking on our colors here. Enemy laser, what do you think, red? Let's make it red. Yeah, something like that. And then we'll take you, and we'll also bring you up into the red range. I'm going to give it a little purple hue to it. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to go something like that. Alrighty, let's go back to our enemy laser right here, and we're going to change the material we're using on it. So up here in Mesh Renderer, we'll open up our materials, and right here, currently it's only using one material. We can put many materials on an object. Some caveats to that, which are beyond the scope of what we're going to worry about today. But what I want to do is just change this material right here from player laser matte to enemy laser matte. So I'll just drag that right up there. Okay. Make sure that I update my prefab. So I select my enemy laser, scroll up here to the top in my inspector and hit apply. So now my prefab is updated correctly. All of this is set to go. Let's double check one thing in our movement script over here. And let's see, we'll go ahead and do an edit prefab on that. So we're editing the prefab down here. And what I'm curious about is going to be this trigger event. Right here, it collides with something tagged as an enemy. Well, let's change that to colliding with something tagged as a player. We're still going to send an event hit enemy. As far as the enemies are concerned, the enemy is the player, so you know that works. We're still going to store that collider. So that was the only change that I had to make to get this system to then start working. Well, actually I lied. I need one more change. The player is not going to get points when the enemy shoots him, so I'm going to turn off all 3 of those. They're not going to be needed. And those are the 3 that we use to allow the player to get points. But when the enemy shoots him, the player doesn't get points, so I'm just going to turn those off. We're going to destroy the enemy that we just hit, which is the player, and then we're going to destroy ourselves. Okay, yeah, this should all work, and our boundary will kill ourselves. Looks good, looks good. And we've got our speed right there. Yeah, this should do everything just fine. Okay, and then I can kind of just do a quick double check, select my enemy laser, and because I was just editing the prefab that's down here, let's go ahead and make sure that the instance has what we want. And I see right here it tells me that I'm editing an instance, and I can see right in here that it is looking at player, so we're good. Everything is all set. Alright, so let's get enemy laser out of our scene. Like so. And let's go to enemy ship. Enemy ship is going to need a couple of things. Basically, we're duplicating what we did with the player ship. So let's go over here to game object. I'm going to do a 3D object. I'm going to do another cube. And no, I don't even think I have Firefox installed on here. I probably do. I just don't know it. Let's see. Do some tweaking to my cube. I want my cube to rotate so that the green arrow is facing the direction I want it to go. If you remember, that's how we were doing it, was the speed. So I'm going to rotate you, what, 90? Alright, let's see. What do I have? That should be the direction that it goes. Let's do some changes here. I'm going to name this a laser spawner. And I'm going to go ahead and attach it to the enemy ship so that it goes wherever the enemy ship goes. I do not need a collider. Collider's not relevant. And make some more changes here. So let's scale this thing down some. Maybe like so. Let's get this guy positioned. I don't know where we want the lasers to come from. Seems kind of silly to come from right there, but for the moment, I think that's what I'm going to do for the moment. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and turn my mesh renderer off. And we're good. So let's go back to, oops, I don't want my game manager in there. That was an oops. Let me put my game manager back up here. Get up here. There we go. Alright, so let's go back into our enemy ship and let's create a new component. Playmaker state machine, and I'm going to call this one shoot. And this is, well, it's going to shoot lasers. So I'm going to go into my edit. And I'm going to have this first one is going to be a wait or a pause or a delay. Then I'm going to have an add state, which is going to be a fire. Alright. I'm going to need a couple of events. Well, actually one event. Ready to fire. I'll call it that. And that's going to come from wait to ready to fire. It's going to come over to fire. Once it's fired, I'll just use my system finished. Finished is about the only system one that I ever really use. I'm sure you can use others, but okay, so inside my wait, I'm going to do an action browser, a random wait. Random wait. I don't know. Let's say we go with 1 to 3. We'll see how that is. Real time. We'll do a ready to fire event, and you know what, let's tweak this a little bit. Let's do like what we've done in the past. So I'll do a min wait, do some variables. Variables are generally, really want to get in the habit of using variables. If for nothing else, then it forces us to not think about these in constant values, but to start abstracting and thinking about things that way. Okay, so then over here in fire, I'm going to go to an action browser, and all I'm going to do in my fires, I'm just going to create an object. So the object I'm going to create is going to be a new variable, and it is going to be my, let's see, I'm going to call it my enemy laser object, and my spawn point, I'm also going to do a variable on that. Let's see, so I will call that one spawn point for now. Everything else looks good, looks good. That's really all I need. Yeah, okay, so let's go over here to variables, and all of these need to be inspectors so that we can go ahead and access them in the inspector. Basically, we're making them public level variables, like so. Alright, now let's come back over here, get into our enemy ship, and let's see, I'm going to do a default of 1 for my min and try 3 for my max, see how that goes. enemy laser is going to be my enemy laser object, and laser spawner will go down here. See, and I, just to reiterate, if I wanted to change it so maybe it spawns from some different point, I simply drag that different point. If I want a different object, I just drag that different object. In fact, it can be changed very easily by other state machines, and I can also easily change my weighting right here. Okay, let's see. So we've got an enemy ship. Let's go ahead and kind of do an apply on that, and let's do some testing. Let's test this out, see what happens. Okay, there goes a couple lasers. There goes a laser. Kind of pinky, a little bit friendly, but yeah, I kind of like that delay at the moment. That this can easily be scaled as the game advances. I can do some stuff to figure out how late I am in the game and go on from there to advance it. Okay, so I just noticed that the player did not get killed. So let's take a look at what's going on with our player. Let's see here. My player, he is tagged as player. Player does not have a collider on him. See that? There's no collider. Hence, no collision is occurring. So let's do an add component. We'll go to our physics. I'm going to give him a box collider, because that'll really do what I need. It's going to be a trigger. And let's zoom in on him. There he is. And I see the box collider is not really around him. It's over here for some reason. Really? Is that my box collider? No? Let me see what's going on here. Player ship, laser spawn point. Oh, did I leave a box collider on my spawn point? Really? I don't know why I did that. Okay, player. Let me get rid of my Playmaker gizmos. Okay, so where are you, player? You are here. Oops. Oh, you see how small these are? Yeah. So this 1-to-1 scale is way down there. So let's just zoom this guy up. We've done this before. I forget what we had to get it up to, but let's go with like 9. Let's see where we're at on a 9. Okay, we're getting there. I'm going to expand my Y a little bit. Something like that. So I'm looking at like 12.5. My Z, that's my up down here. That's too big. I really want it to fit snugly around my ship. So 6.21, 6.2. And my X doesn't really matter that much. But I can kind of take a look at it. And that looks pretty good. Okay, so I've got a nice little box collider around my ship now. Let's make it a trigger. And then the other thing I have to add to make my collisions work is going to be a rigid body. Turn off my gravity. And I'm just going to freeze all of these constraints. So I just basically have the physics component on to detect when these triggers happen. And my code is going to take care of everything else. There we go. So I don't want my physics automatically doing anything. Okay, let's see what we got now. Oops, did I not push the play button? Shoot me! You missed me. Okay, hey, we're working. Cool, that's all I wanted. Let's zoom out. Let's make sure the enemy lasers are being destroyed. Hey, we're cool. We got this. Alright, so finishing up my player ship, I made some changes here to my instance. I'm going to apply those to my prefab. My enemy ship, just to double check, I'm going to apply them. And then I'm going to remove my enemy ship from my scene. And we are good to go. We have enemies that now shoot lasers. And those lasers can destroy the player. Nice. We are set. Yeah, okay, cool. So that's it. Any questions, just drop them down below.